All right, good morning, and I'm Dr. Rutledge, and one of our most popular videos on the internet on YouTube is where I talk about creatine. And creatine is a 3 amino acid peptide that initially was discovered to be part of the energy system in the muscle cells. And then some weightlifters got interested in it, and they found that if you add creatine and lift weights, you can build more muscle, which is probably the first real, truthful, non-steroid type of anabolic that's ever been found. So a lot of weightlifters, bodybuilders, things like that take creatine. As the scientists began to look at creatine, they got kind of excited because it is kind of interesting that we can actually build muscle. And so now there have been hundreds of articles on creatine. And we talked a little bit about it on the internet. We recommend it for our patients, and I thought I'd go through some of the issues that we like to point out for our patients and the creatine supplements that we recommend for you. And also some pretty exciting new research. I want to talk to you about the muscular baby from Germany, muscular mice, and big cows. And so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that as we talk about the creatine this morning on this video. Basically, as I said, creatine is a part of the normal system in cells in the body. The body cells do work. Your brain thinks, your eye sees, your muscles lift and move you, your gut contracts, the heart pumps. All of these actions require energy, and creatine is part of that energy system, that cycle that takes the oxygen molecule, metabolizes it, and generates ATP and energy. So they found that giving creatine, as I said, to weightlifters builds some extra muscle. And that's a good thing. But to give you some more research and background, I would like to tell you that scientists said, gee, what else can we do with creatine? If it's important in the cells in the body, what other things might it help? So they thought of the brain. The brain's cells do work, and sometimes they're missing out on energy, like in a stroke or damage to the brain or things like that. And so the idea came up, why don't we give creatine to little old men in a nursing home? They took little old men out to the nursing home, and they gave them creatine, and they gave them crossword puzzles to solve. And the little old men prior to the creatine did okay, but after they got creatine, they did better. That is, creatine helped them think better. Then they gave it to mice and gave poor little mice a stroke, which, if you're a member of PETA, bothers you. If not, maybe it's okay. But giving little mice a stroke, they could measure the damage in the brain. And the brain damage decreased in size when they gave the mice creatine. So it's brain protective. Then they took some young people with mild brain damage and they gave them creatine, and some of their symptoms of mild brain damage improved. So a lot of research suggests creatine might be a good supplement. We like it and we recommend it to our patients. Most interesting recently is they said, gee, if creatine's good, why don't we just give it to mice? So half the mice got regular mouse food, Purina rat chow, and the other mice got the regular mouse food plus creatine, and the mice lived 10% longer, which for, say, somebody who lives an average of 70 years, a human might be an additional 7 years of life. Creatine's, as far as we know, completely safe, and recently there's been a new research study that I want to talk about this morning. That's the background, and that's, as I say, one of the most popular videos on my website that I've done, and we have lots of people refer to it and comment on it on our website. But I want to give you some background on another hormone called myostatin. Myostatin is a hormone in the body which inhibits the development of muscle. So it's a hormone that's released that's anti-muscle building. And I'm not sure why God had that in his plan, but we have that. And if you don't have that gene, the animal that is missing the anti-muscle gene grows great, big, powerful muscles. And so the first time they found this was in a baby in Germany who was born. And you know those pictures that are on the front of the National Enquirer? You know, the baby's born as an alien, or a fish has 2 children, or all kinds of crazy things. Well, they showed this muscular baby from Germany, and they went and analyzed it, and that baby was missing the gene for myostatin. So he got really big and muscular. Then they took that same area of the gene in a mouse and they blocked it. They cloned a mouse without that gene and grew a mouse without myostatin, and he got big and muscular. And so I'm going to show you a picture of a mighty mouse. Those of you who are young remember that. But that's a big myostatin-less mouse and a little regular mouse. So what you want to worry about is if you hear a little tap, tap, tapping at night in your house, you hope it's not a mighty mouse. Now, myostatin is really interesting, and so people are looking for what could we do to block the blocker, because we would like to have less myostatin. So,
virus database has been updated.
Good. So, a group of doctors in, where else? Iraq, I'm not kidding, took 27 young healthy men and put them on lifting weights, some just sitting around, and some lifting weights and additional creatine. And they found that just sitting around, you have a moderate level of myostatin. If you lift weights, the myostatin goes down a little bit, so you can build some muscle. And if you lift weights and take creatine, there's an even lower level of myostatin and another protein called GASP. I don't make these things up, but GASP, G-A-S-P. And GASP also decreases myostatin. So GASP goes up, myostatin goes down, and muscles get built. And all that is helped by taking additional creatine. Now, why would our patients, MGB patients, want to take creatine? Well, first of all, maybe all of us want to take creatine, whether you're having my surgery or not, because there's a lot of positives. Since it helps the brain, I took several this morning before I came to work, so I'm not sure it'll help, but you can be the judge of that. But why should our patients take creatine? Well, let's go over some of the numbers. Remember, our patients, we've had about 5,500 MGB patients now. And of those, the average weight on the day of surgery is right at 300 pounds. So some are 250 and some are 350, some are 200, some are 400. But the average weight of our patients on the day of surgery is right at 300 pounds. At the end of a year, that person has lost, on average, between 140 and 160 pounds. Or 1/2 of a human being. Okay, now, we wish it was 150 pounds of fat. Unfortunately, when you starve a heavy person's body, his or her body doesn't do what we would like. One of the first things it does when it's not getting enough calories is burn muscle. So that we have some of our patients who are weightlifters, and they will find their bench press decreases tremendously after the surgery, because against our wishes, against the best interest for our patients, muscular strength goes down because the body inappropriately decreases muscle mass as opposed to decreasing fat mass. And it's a little bit like having an Uncle Scrooge. Scrooge has all this money. We have all these calories stored as fat, which we should burn if we come to lean times when we're not getting enough calories. But Scrooge, our bodies won't let that calories go, and instead goes and actually burns up the furniture in the house as opposed to going to the safe and taking some money out to buy firewood. And so what we would like to do is eliminate or decrease that catabolic situation where the body is burning muscle, and we'd like to improve the anabolic or muscle building side of things, and creatine does that safely. So we strongly recommend creatine to our patients, and actually to anybody, if you discuss it and get approval with your doctor. So we're pro creatine, and the recent research on the weightlifting young men in Iraq suggests that it's a good thing, and it may work by decreasing myostatin via the GASP-1 protein. So if you're listening out there, take your creatine. Thanks very much.